comes crashing in and reminds me of the past. And sometimes I hear your name. Sometimes I hear your name. It reminds me of the pain. Well, I guess you read me right, 'cause I am a foolish man. But at least I understand. But at least I understand. And I've learned to live with it. Memories like grains of sand, lying helpless on the beach. But the ones you need so bad, the ones you need so bad, are the ones you cannot reach. memories like grains of sand. Then it all comes crashing in and reminds me of the past. And sometimes I hear your name. Sometimes I hear your name. It reminds me of the pain. Well, I guess you read me right, 'cause I am a foolish man. But at least I understand. But at least I understand. And I've learned to live with it. Memories like grains of sand, lying helpless on the beach. But the ones you need so bad, the ones you need so bad, are the ones you cannot reach. Memories like grains of sand.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. And yes, I hope everybody made it through the storms. They did have some nasty ones, although they weren't quite as bad as what they thought they were going to be, which is a very good thing. We certainly did need a repeat of the prior Friday, that's for sure. Albeit there was some nasty stuff. And I did see some pictures of hail that was the size of softballs, so yeah. But I hope you're doing good, Miss T, Casey. Christ, I gotta look see y'all's here. Brian, let's see, Beezy, James Ewing. And James says someone passed away, one of the mods from the Ride Along Gang, which is a shame. Definitely give my condolences. That sucks whenever that happens. Nexus, good to see you, buddy. Rick, yep, get charged up, guy. Guitar stuff, good to see you. Yep, I did. I seen Beezy. But anyways, I guess people are probably wondering why I titled my thing the way I did. And reason being, I've been watching it, and the more I watch stuff, the more I research stuff, the more I look into it. Everything from politics to medicine to things being passed that many of us don't think are good from all of our countries. And we're all told that, back when they passed a lot of these things, i.e. like the Patriot Act or something like that, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Why is it that the reverse is never thought about? If they have nothing to fear, then they should have nothing to hide, shouldn't they? But yet, many of these things I watch and I look into, they can't get a hold of the data, or they have bills that are 3,000 and 4,000 pages long that, well, you got to vote on it now. We don't want, you can't take time to read it or anything like that, like anybody's going to have time to do that. But yet we're supposed to just accept that as a norm. We've all heard, don't question certain aspects of certain things, be it shall we say the cure or the disease, or don't question the outcome of a choice or a selection. We're just supposed to accept it. But yet, when I see these, PhD scientists and study groups and things like that, trying to bring out information on this stuff. They have to pull tooth and nail to get the information to do that. So, if we're being told prior to this, and we've all heard this before, why is it they seem to want to hide these things if they have nothing to fear about those things? If it's for the good of society and it's legit what they say, I would think they'd. But every time I turn around, they've got to file freedom of information requests, which they're supposed to be obligated to, conform to, but they end up in court, and you have to fight in court for, months, maybe years, to get this information. And then when you do get it, you get a bunch of pages with maybe a few sentences or a couple words, and the rest is blanked out. Well, what national security secrecy is it to have the numbers to say the CDC and their own information, or the FDA, or statistics for why they're passing a law? How you doing, Curtimus? How you doing, Drip? Good to see you. Curtimus, I'm glad you showed up, because I am thinking of this right now. And boom, remove that one and add that one. So, I don't know how many people have thought the same thing. And then we're supposed to, as I watched the things that went on this week, I'm watching live, and I was calling out what was going to happen right when it happened. And I don't care what side of the political spectrum you fall upon. What's going on right now is absolutely disgusting. And the problem is they are literally cheering this stuff on. And I don't think they understand what they're doing. Not only to what they believe, just out of, I don't have any idea why, other than sheer hatred. But in the future, how that's going to turn around and bite themselves in the ass. I don't think they understand that. Is it a matter of, has it come to that media has driven people so far that they'll move to the point of absurdity and allow these things when they don't realize that eventually it's going to be hit on them? How you doing, Great Bill? Good to see you. So I really wonder why we as the public aren't turning around and asking this stuff. We just accept it. Or we're supposed to, honor the wishes of people whom we know definitely aren't of good intention. And I'm not quite sure how to address that. I mean, I made a few calls to politicians today. Not that I expect to get any reasonable answer from any of them. But I guess I'll ask everybody else. I know there's a lot of people here that live in other countries that have a lot of the same concerns I'm talking about. I'm of the mind now that we need to be ringing their phones and their emails off the hook. Because when does this stop? You know, has humanity lost its mind? I'm even questioned today, and you can ask Paul of that. You know, I'm the type of person that I like to do my research and look into stuff, so I tend not to be wrong. And when I am, if someone shows me I'm wrong, I am more than happy to admit to it. But in this case, you can't even hardly get the information to know specifically whether it comes to politics or medical or social. So many stories and so many, shall we say, half truths. And I'll go ahead and say it, blatant outright lies. You know, it just floors me that this stuff is allowed to continue. And has the public in general, I mean, is it people are just afraid to speak up anymore, or the whole go along to get along? I do, machinist. Good to see you, guy. Um, you know, any number of things. So that's my soapbox for today at the moment. So if anybody wants to come up and have their say about what I'm talking about, or tell me I'm completely wrong, or what their thoughts on it are in their country, or whatever. And I don't, you know, I could list specific examples, but I don't think I need to because I think most of us are aware of those. You doing, Jeffrey? Good to see you. You know, the thing of it is, it affects us all. Do we allow a small subset of society to be in control of what's going on? Because that's what's happening. It's all right. It's cool, Brian. No biggie. Um, you know, I see so many things that people are divided upon because they think they've got the answers, and in their mind, they're not wrong. And not only then to find out after the fact that you actually are. You know, I see it from everything from social issues to, yeah, well, I guess you could classify it all as social issues if we're all being duped by our leaders. How you doing, Janice? Good to see you. You know, and it's and I've said this before on this channel. If you're going to question anything, the first thing you do is look in the mirror and question yourself. And I was doing that today. I'm thinking to myself, am I wrong? I just don't get it. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. No, Diamond Lou. And a lot of people I talk to, it's like, some people don't want to believe that it's there, or they don't want to engage in it, ignore it, like it's a normalcy thing. And it's understandable. I mean, it's understandable to me. But pretending something isn't there doesn't change it, nor does it make it go away. I was watching a thing about the origin, supposedly, of C-19. And it's very apparent now that the government knew at least as early as back in early December that it was out there. We also know from other things, from blood tests they've done and studies, that at least as far back as August and September. But yet you don't see none of that on the news. Or the whole completely safe and effective, which, hey, I'm not going to say yay, nay, or not, but the CDC does say they do have some problems. Now, to what extent of those are is yet to be determined. I seen one doctor that literally was doing a study, and the information that he was using from his own government site was actually removed. How do you make a reasonable determination if the people who are supposed to be our leaders are turning around and hiding stuff? There's a newspaper article out of a paper in Florida, which the name slips my mind at the moment, that talked about an unusual illness down there prior to all this happening, a illness that got into your lungs, obviously, and all the information from that's been wiped from the web, or taken down from government websites or whatever. And you literally have to dig back through, online archives or anything to find it. And even some of that I'm finding isn't beyond being removed. So that even the stuff that's supposed to be archived isn't beyond the reach of whomever that doesn't want that information out. How you doing, Big Dice? Good to see you. But yet we're supposed to still sit back and accept all these things, or accept absurdities that are going on in our legal systems and our political systems and our health systems. And we're not supposed to question them. We're conspiracy theorists, or we're white supremacists, which is a laugh. Many different things. Doing, Texas guy? Good to see you. And my question is how long do we sit back? Yeah, Curtimus, that's a very good point. You know what I find, though, as I'm beginning to think the reverse is true. I think they did such a fine job of scaring people shitless that they just can't let go of it. Also, as I was watching a talk show, albeit with people who should know what they're talking about. I mean, they got PhDs, so I would hope they know what they're talking about. About that very thing, they don't want to admit they made a mistake because it does affect their friends and families. So is this what we're relegated to now? I mean, I've had so many different things said just about myself. Like you said there, Artemis. I mean, supposedly you're brainwashed or something if you don't buy into the, shall we say, authoritative narrative. Or don't question people's motivations or anything like that, like they made billions of dollars or something like that. Yeah, that's never motivated anybody before. And I'll ask everybody here, I'm going to kind of put people on the spot. If what I'm saying rings true with you, how many phone calls have you made? They don't take long. And I know at this point in time, it seems like we're pissing in the wind, but we really need to rattle some cages. If you look at how all this stuff come about and the things we've seen from so-called authoritative figures, and how many times that what they were saying turned out to be untrue. But yet we're the conspiracy theorists, we're the nuts, we're the this, we're the that, whatever. We can't allow that to continue. Yeah, I know. Trust me, Diamond Loot, I know that feeling. Up until just a couple months ago, I was on the verge of losing my channel, and now it seems that things have changed quite a bit. I would have never said the things I said in the past 20 minutes 2-3 months ago. Yeah, Dice, that's another problem too. Our political systems and our judicial systems are, shall we say, quite special at the moment. And we really need to gain back control of those. And I mean that in the sense that politicians need to represent the people they're supposed to be representing, not their own interests, not the interest of a corporation or their own specific ideologies or whatever. It's like we're supposed to just sit down and shut up. Is that what we do? Oh, for sure, Curtis. They've been making lists of people forever. Yeah, absolutely, Rudy. Yeah, that's kind of an irony, isn't it, Rudy? Talk about hypocrisy. You know, um, Big D, I really don't know what the motivation is there. Um, that's a good possibility. I mean, as the saying goes, the pendulum always swings the other way, sooner or later. But at this point, it seems to me that even that they're trying to delve into as it is. Um, for example, I don't care whether you like, but what they're doing is absurd and flies in the face of justice of our legal system. And what blows my mind is people are literally cheerleading that. And not that I think it's going to go anywhere. I really eventually know what's going to outcome of that. Yeah, that's true, Dice. There's been a lot of people moving over to Rumble, although I've seen enough people having problems with it still that I wouldn't attempt to go over there strictly live right now. You know, if I had hundreds of thousands of followers and a team of tech people, yeah, maybe. But they'll get there eventually. You know, so I ask a lot of people, is this what we want to live with? Is this what we're going to accept? Um, you know, like in the case there, what I was talking about with Trump, basically, we all know what they're trying to do. I don't think they're going to be successful. I think this is going to backfire on them. But at this point, I don't think it's beyond reason to think that they might try to pull something else. Yeah, it could, Dice. It very well could. But even if it wasn't Trump, and think about this. If they can do this to Trump, and a man who literally has almost unlimited access for good legal representation, imagine what they'll do to you if they don't like what you have to say. Just think about that. What about your local politicians? How much has that been influenced? How easy would it be to shut any one of us up? That's the stuff we can't be allowed to be happening. Because eventually that's what's going to happen. If it isn't already, I believe it probably is already happening. I'd be naive to think it hasn't. Um, So I guess we really need to find ways to speak up more. And frankly, I'm not opposed to calling politicians every day. If I had the ability, I'd put them all on speed dial for every hour on the hour. Yep. There's another one there, Big D. You know, I was watching the live stream there in New York, and I was calling it just as I seen it. None of it surprised me. Yep, here we go. And magically, somebody with a Trump hat and all this stuff supposedly goes and attacks somebody. Right, sure. That's a good question, Curtis. If they could do it in mass, they'd already have done it, Big D. That's a question. That's a good question, Curtis. Ultimately, it boils down to this: that we really are the ones who control our governments. The problem is, we're so locked into things. We're trapped in so many things. It's just like when the whole mandate thing, and people were forced into it if they wanted to keep their jobs or be able to do anything. Which leaves us in a very tough spot. But ultimately, it has to be us. Yep, and that's a correct statement for the moment. For the moment, it's a correct statement. Something that sickened me when Biden come out and made his speech there, and his press secretary, and the one from Arizona that resigned. They didn't give two shits about those kids or those people. But it's easy to just forget or not think about it or do the whole, go along to get along thing. Like I said in one of my community posts, we've taken a lot of hard lumps in the past few years. We've been called a lot of things, even called crazy because we questioned something. But that rolls back to my point. if everything was great and grand like they claim it to be, why should they hide anything? Just like a certain something, if it's so safe and effective, I don't care if it's a bar of soap. I would think a company would be throwing all their information right on out there. Look how great this is. You guys know what I'm talking about. Is that what we're relegated to now? How you doing, Brian? Good to see you, buddy.
Doing fine.
You cut out there for a second, guy. It could be me or you. I'm not sure which.
Don't know either.
So what's your take on what I had to say? Am I just blowing off at the mouth, or?
Oh, no, there's, yeah, I was just looking into some stuff here. We had a court case between a mother and a father about getting the kids vaccinated.
Yeah.
The father won to not have them. And the reason that he won was because the judge wouldn't accept safe and effective as what's it called, judicial notice, which means in a lot of the court cases, the judge was invoking judicial notice on that it was safe and effective. But this it's in the Superior Court of Ontario, and he didn't invoke that because he wasn't convinced that it was safe and effective. So the judge ruled for the father, so the mother can't get their kids vaccinated without a court order. So this is just a recent case. So that gives me a little bit of hope.
Unfortunately, I think that's more of a determination by the luck of which judge you get.
I
mean, I could be wrong, but
well, there's precedents being set there, right?
You would think, I've seen a lot of things that I thought shouldn't happen because of precedents, and they are. So
yeah. Well, I was trying to be positive. Geez, you ruined it for me, Rob.
That's definitely good news. I mean, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Whether someone agrees with it or not, I don't think people should be forced down that.
Yeah.
You know. Guitar Stuff says something here is can't agree on where the line in the sand is, and different perceptions, different boundaries. And Guitar Stuff. That's a good point, and why I was addressing about nothing to hide, nothing to fear. In their case, if all of these things, be it the medical side or the political side or the social side or whatever, if there was nothing to fear, there would be nothing to hide. I do, Melissa Freedom. Good to see you. And that's the problem with exactly what you're saying there about people having different lines or things like that, because there's different information. People have seen different things or heard different things and have different sources of information. I mean, I can't even hardly stomach watching any mainstream media news, even if I think they may agree with me. Because it's just so that you're either not getting the whole truth or you're not getting any truth at all. It's just a bunch of wiggle worms and buzzwords. And then you look at people who's, you can't spend your whole life digging into stuff all the time. You have responsibilities of life and family and all that stuff. That's another problem. How you doing, Diamond Lou?
What's happening, guys?
Good to see you.
So you got some crazy stuff you're talking about here. It takes a lot of guts.
Crazy? What do you mean crazy? I don't think it's crazy.
Takes a lot of guts.
I've not been deemed clinically insane yet.
Takes a lot of guts to speak the truth. These days they call that crazy.
You ain't wrong there.
Yeah.
You know, but today was kind of my final straw when I sat and listened to people with, you know, more than one PhD talk about how getting information is being withheld and you got to fight tooth and nail to get it. And then when you do finally win to get it, you only get half of it. The information you're using gets removed.
Well, that's really
That's
it.
Crazy. Go ahead. I didn't cut you off, the guy.
That's all right. I just said that's it in a nutshell. This all started for me a few years back when I actually went and looked up the executive orders signed by our great president, Mr. Obama. And when you start seeing what's going on, what he put into institution, and most of those executive orders are still active today. It kind of you start looking back to where the head of the snake is.
Well, our head of the snake, Mr. Trudeau, we have Bill C-11 going through. I'm not sure. It's basically an internet censorship bill. It went through our House of Commons, passed, went to the Senate, came back. They didn't pass it, but added amendments to it. It went back to the House. Our fine leader shut down any debate on it. Said no, we're not doing it. We're not adding any of these amendments. There's a couple of them that they agreed, but it's back in our Senate for a vote. But the strange thing, the day that he shut down debate on this bill, he started promoting his personal YouTube channel. How's that for head of the snake?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's unreal. I mean, it just amazes me.
Well, when I started digging through those EOs, the first one I noticed was I'll see if I can quote it. It's Executive Order 36712, I believe, and it was signed in 2014. And in 2014, our illustrious ex-president, Mr. Obama, had decided that he would add every symptom to C-19 onto the United States national quarantine list, and specifically excluded influenza and pneumonias. Tell me they didn't know about it beforehand. He also was the one who funded Fauci and all of the Wuhan lab research through those executive orders.
Well,
now, go ahead.
Go ahead. I got something to add to that.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how much of that's still available on Google, because as y'all touched on the point earlier, a lot of that information has disappeared. But luckily, I snapshot most of it.
But that doesn't make it an authoritative informational center then. That leaves it open for manipulation, and that's another problem we have.
Yes.
What I'd like to add is papers were shown that my government had put out a job posting for somebody to study C-19 in early December. Now, C-19 wasn't named until March, supposedly?
Yeah, I believe it was in
of 2020.
2019, actually. If I remember right, it was right after Mardi Gras 2019. And actually, they had the first cases in China just beforehand. It was actually closer to the end of February. I remember
Yeah, I
this.
don't see that's the problem. We can't get any definitive sources on that kind of stuff.
See, I remember as I was watching back when YouTube still allowed certain communist channels on it, I was actually watching a couple of Chinese news channels, and they were talking about the first cases that came out in China. And I started looking at people when we played Mardi Gras, our band did. I started looking at people and going, guys, this is good because all of these beads that people are throwing around just came from China, Wuhan, China, actually, to be exact. And so I wouldn't allow anyone to give them to me. I made them throw them on the stand and whatnot. Well, it was about 3 to 5 days later, the first cases in the U.S. appeared. They contributed those to the Mardi Gras celebration.
That would have been March or in 2020.
Yeah, that's 2020.
Was it? It may have been.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm thinking of 2019 prior to that, the year prior, because it didn't become known until right around New Year's. I mean, I had heard about some of it prior to that.
Yeah.
Because I do pay attention to other things.
Late August of 2019 is when I first caught wind of it.
Yeah. Well, they've already, and the thing is, catching wind of it and hear about it is one thing. What I'm talking about is definitive proof. And the only thing that I'm aware of at the moment is the blood test studies they did for antibodies in Italy. That's the only thing that I'm aware of. But you know, the Olympics and or the military Olympics and things like that. I don't know. I've not seen anything that's definitive, so I won't use that as an authoritative source of information. But them trying to hire somebody specifically for C-19 in early December when it wasn't named until March of the following year, yeah, I'd say that leaves me a little suspect.
Throws up a red flag or two, that's for
Well,
sure.
yeah, it makes one go, hey, wait a minute here. Somebody traveled back in time, wrote this shit down. What? Am I missing something here? If they got time travel, I want to know about it. I got some shit I want to do back in my 20s that I want to do again, just worse.
It'll be both. Well, I guess it all boils down to, you know, it's all basically lies these days. So you don't know who to trust and where the truth is anymore. And it's up to us, the people, I guess, in both countries and all countries to just stand up and speak the truth, whether it hurts people's feelings or not. You can still speak the truth without really actually going after people, you know.
Well, but see, that's the problem. There lies another problem. It's always adversarial. You look at the whole protest thing there in New York. And like I said, I was watching live streams and I was calling it as I was seeing it. I said, yep, here we go. That right there is going to be a setup. And sure as shit, yep. And somebody out there running with a MAGA hat and the pro-patriot thing and all that stuff. And they're the ones causing the problems.
Yep.
And anybody with half an ounce of sense, most people on that train of thought aren't there to cause problems because they already know what the possibilities are. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, what can you say?
Go ahead. I don't know. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you didn't. I'm just kind of reflecting on what you're saying there.
Yep, Melissa, I won't pull that up, but you're absolutely correct. That's another aspect that falls into this, and I don't understand how this shit's allowed to continue and how our politicians are backing it.
Well, Anheuser-Busch stocks went down this week.
Yeah, but yet it's still being promoted.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's where's I can't remember where it was. I was saying they're trying to pass a law where if they're having something, some kind of function or something, you're not
Oh,
allowed to.
that's our beautiful country of Canada in
Is
Ontario.
Canada doing that? Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to introduce a bill into the house where you have to be 100 meters or 100 yards for you Americans away from drag queen event.
Never in my life did I think I would be sitting discussing this in a non-humorous fashion.
Here,
Here.
And I don't know how many people know. Today was the last day. The citizens brought it was in the Supreme Court of Canada about the Emergencies Act. So that trial just ended today. So we'll find out. Well, there's no ruling on it yet.
Yep, Rudy, you're correct in that one. Oh, skip there. Yeah, that's another one, guitar stuff. You're right. Kind of strange how certain ones, an example, I won't use the medical field, but let's look at SVB and what went on there, and they gave employees bonuses, and the CEOs and the other board members and stuff all cashed out weeks prior to it going ass up. Wait a minute, I'm not exactly a rocket surgeon, but something to me seems a little funny there.
Yeah.
I didn't become a grandfather without being able to detect lies.
Yeah, he had to be a dad first, eh?
Well, that may not be true now. You can
No, that's true.
As anything you want. I could be
that's kind of it, though.
Mushroom, if I want, I guess.
That's kind of it. When did grandfathers become the children? Because that's kind of how they all speak to us. And then you ask them a question, and what do we get? The same answer we get from the grandchildren. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems to be, well, it wouldn't be a kid saying I don't know. It'd be, well, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my boot says otherwise. So if you want to be the next person on the moon, I suggest you open your mouth.
Well, that's it.
And unfortunately, and I say that in joking fashion for sure, but
right.
I won't say that about our politicians. We really need to say, well, we either get the answers or here's the boot.
Well, that's it too, and it's definitely time to start cleaning house. The question is, how do we do it without people having to die? And who knows? That might be
I don't think we're at that point yet. We need to be more vigilant. I think, as I said, it's hard to get more people to be engaged and interactive. A lot of people are busy with lives and family and work and things like that, which is understandable, which is used as I think, a tool to make it tougher for many of us in those types of situations. Brian he's a prime example of that. I don't know if it's see how that man has enough time in the day to do the research he does, plus work full time and all that bullshit.
Oh, I have a great job.
Yeah.
Just don't tell my boss. No, I feel compelled.
Yeah, guitar stuff made a good point there.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, same here.
albeit I think certain people of other political leanings are more than happy to come to that if current events don't testify to that.
You know, I find this also crazy for myself is, you know, becoming so political in the last 3 months to 6 months. Because, you know, as a musician, I've always pushed for the non-politics. You know, I've refused to play with bands that do political songs or would push politics in the gigs or whatnot. And yet here I am finding myself, you know.
Yeah, isn't that a quandary to be in?
So
You know,
maybe that's go ahead.
well, you know, and that's the thing. I used to point this out to people. If you want to know what's going on in society, look at the music.
Well, that's it too. Maybe it's time that we need to make that push on the other side with music. You know, it worked in the '60s. Well,
yeah, it did.
It got noticed at least.
Casey was more than kind of like that.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
Melissa, and I fear there's going to be many more. And Frank, you're correct, but I think it goes further than that. I look at Davos and the WF, and that tells you really all you need to know.
Yep.
You know, and the thing about being a musician and trying to be, you know, apolitical. You know, that makes absolute sense because I don't feel it's my place to influence people's politics through music. But
exactly. We're supposed to influence their hearts and their souls, not so much their politics.
Exactly. We're supposed to be the peacemakers. You know, I'm believing in that less and less.
Same here.
You know, everything that is in the media nowadays, even the music, has been used, shall we say, to promote certain ideas.
That's a good way to put it. Without expanding overly.
Yeah, well, it's trying to make it's a normalcy thing.
If you can even call a lot of it music, you know.
Well, it doesn't matter. Music is whoever's listening to it. It doesn't matter what it is. There's a lot of types I really don't care for. It doesn't mean that it's not music.
Well, true.
To put it very tongue-in-cheek and lightly. But it is used to influence, you know. And that's very apparent in the younger generations now because some of that stuff just blows my mind.
Well,
it really does blow my mind.
What gets me is what they're allowing to the younger generation, but then, you know, censoring everyone else is, you know, it's kind of like, well, that's okay, you know, but whatever you do, don't say that, you know.
Well, here's an example. I call it cultural forming. I have to watch how many cuss words are on my live streams, but yet I can go to an innumerous number of music videos that language speaking are some of the most disgusting things I've seen.
Yeah, you'd be shut down just for reciting the lyrics.
Yeah. By the way, hold on 1 second. Somebody want to talk for a second? I'm going to do some housekeeping.
Oh, must be the dogs.
No. I'm taking care of the I got newer people showing up.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, on that same topic, he's very right. It's, they shut us down for all sorts of stuff. And, just like I do a lot of cover stuff on my channel, and I'm constantly hit with copyright strikes and, whatever else. But,
Oh yeah.
but like, if you wrote half of those lyrics down or typed them in place, you'd be immediately, censored and striked and kicked off of YouTube or whatever platform you're on.
Oh, easily.
Well, I can't even. I couldn't give a firearm lesson on my channel because you're not allowed to show firearms on a live stream. But yet I can pull up a music video that, shall we say, are a little less than wholesome.
Exactly. A little less than wholesome.
Well, you have to.
The WAP.
You're gonna play the game. You got to play the game. But that's what I call. They're manipulating culture, social.
Yes.
Don't speak the truth. The only truth is what will allow you to see, even if it contradicts our very own, shall we say, morality or morals. Which just floors me, but we have to accept that.
Well, I guess that's kind of the point of this whole thing, though, is, at what point do we draw that line in the sand and say, you know what, we're not going to accept this anymore? It's.
Well, that's part of the problem, though. The centralization of many things nowadays, which really got accelerated during the whole pandemic. They used to say vote with your dollars. It's kind of hard to do nowadays.
Yeah.
It really is.
Ain't that the
unless you're going to cut yourself off from the whole damn world, not have a phone, not have no internet, no TV, grow your own food or anything, and live like you did back in the 1850s. What do you do?
Good point. Well, and that's it too, because they'll just start cutting you off anyhow. So,
yep.
Well, we can always count on the sun and the planet to take care of it for us. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. What do you say, people?
Have a good one, Jeffrey. Oh, guitar stuff. There's no absolute doubt about that guy.
Yeah. I was just reading the same thing there.
Yeah. I could, being called a conspiracy theorist is nothing. I can point you back to truths even over 100 years ago that blow most people's minds. That they don't even know. Well, I shouldn't say it won't blow their minds. They'll be indifferent to it, but they'll not know it ever happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Frank, I don't know. They really don't per se need to take anyone out. In this day and age, so many things are used to discredit people, even if they're untrue. All they got to be is accused of it. And that's crazy.
Yeah, and let social media do the rest, eh?
Yep.
Well, they're proving that right now, this whole last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to share this little thing about our Calgary mayor, mayor of Calgary of Alberta. It's she's asked a tough question, and this is her response. You want
Yep, sure will.
to share that?
Question for Mayor Gondek, Kean with the counter signal. Just a few months ago, a handful of months ago, you were fighting tooth and nail against increasing the police budget, and you were actively supporting defund the police rhetoric. I'm just wondering, when you realized the police forces were not optional, did it take, this random stabbings, wives getting stabbed, police officers getting killed, to realize that it was important to fund police departments? And how can Calgarians trust you when you flip-flop on basic issues like public safety?
I don't know.
Oh man.
So the lady in the back to the left is the premier of Alberta, the new premier of Alberta, and she doesn't put up with any guff. So she's
How you doing, Gerald? Good to see you. That is hilarious, Brian. But no, it's actually sickening, dude. Think about it. Really,
I know it's sickening, but in the same token, it's actually a news person pushing back, and even a little pushback like that, unscripted, she could not answer. And it's gone viral here in Canada. So,
I bet.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, James saying it right. Wow.
How
so
go ahead, Brian.
They will probably there's a petition out to recall her, which she should be kicked out just for that little thing she did there.
Well, but how the hell did she get in the office in the first place?
Well, the Liberals thought it was a good thing. She promised them free everything, right? Yeah, she's a big climate change person, and all these liberal talking points. Everybody's quickly realizing maybe it's not so good.
Well, as I said, it don't matter which side of the political bent you fall upon. To think a lot of these things that are going on are going to further your beliefs or not, if you can't see the inherent dangers in them, and that's a prime example of that. Talk about a doorknob.
Yeah.
You would think they would have groomed her to at least, come up and say bullshit, not address the question, but to literally just walk away.
Well, didn't have a prepared statement for that.
Absolutely not.
Obviously.
That wasn't on the.
Yeah. She could have used Trudeau's scripted answer. The Canadians will agree, or the majority of Canadians want us to, and around in circles. But, yeah, I just thought it was quite humorous, but that'll end her political career very quickly.
Well,
Maybe.
we thought that about Joe Biden too, but look where we're still at.
That I don't understand. Looking at it from the outside world, man, it's like unbelievable.
Oh, believe me, from the inside here, it's unbelievable. But a good puppet just stands there, does whatever the puppet master pulls the strings to do. So
yeah.
I think again it all falls back to the man in the basement on our end.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder how much control the same man has over Trudeau and all the rest of the worldwide puppet.
Well,
master.
yeah, that's the issue. The thing is, if Trudeau and Biden mysteriously went missing, and the second in command took over, Canada would be in a worse place than the U.S.
I don't know. Kamala's pretty bad.
Oh, she's stupid. I mean, she's just dumb. Our problem is Freeland is not stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point.
Yeah, she's conniving and smart.
Mark C, I don't have a clue what you're talking about there, guy. What did I send? To whom?
Freedom from being forced into slavery by commerce.
Well, there's many aspects.
Well, we control that.
I could go down many different paths when it comes to that. That's possible, Frank. You could be. Yeah, for everybody that's on my channel, I mod everybody, and then I have what they call managing mods or super mods. The reason I do that is so I don't have somebody comes in and tries to clone you and say a bunch of shit pretending to be you.
That's a good idea.
If that's what you're speaking of, Mark C.
Well, lead guitar man, unfortunately, I'm going to have to jump out here. I've got to jump in the vehicle and go pick up my wife at work. So.
All right, guy. Well, thanks for jumping up. Good talking to you.
Yeah,
Glad
same
that
here.
you're
But go ahead, say that again.
I'm glad you're here. Come up and filled out maybe something I missed. I guess. Go ahead, guy.
I'll just keep thinking about stuff, and all we can do is keep fighting the good fight, everybody. So,
well, yeah, for sure.
Keep putting out your thoughts on your YouTubes and Facebooks and Twitters and Twingers and all the rest of the things, and that's our best fight right now. Stump them with intelligence and stump them with the truth.
Well, that's the thing. Use their own truth. Hopefully.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to bow out here, and
all right. You
have
take
a great
care, guys.
I hope y'all figure out the way to solve the problems in this world.
Well, I don't think we're going to solve any problems, but I hope it gives people pause to think.
All right. Well, we'll have to do a collab vid sometime.
Certainly, no problem. Absolutely.
All right, man. Stay in touch, guys.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Catch you later, Diamond.
All right, man. Peace.
Yep, Gerald. Freedom to fail. That's a good one. Yeah. What's the matter, Gerald? You don't want a participation ribbon? Come on. Oh, my goodness. If it wasn't so pertinent to our current state of affairs, it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And I got to take care of Diamond Lou. Got it. All right, hooked you up there, Diamond Lou. I got to make sure I had gotten you. That way I know it's you when you come back.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that I even have to do that stuff. I don't. I just don't get people who think that causing turmoil at the expense of others is okay. I just don't get it. Don't understand it.
Yeah.
Maybe they just thrive off that stuff. I don't know. Could be.
Oh, I know a couple of people that thrive off it.
How you doing, Anna? Good to see you. Guitar says, I fell so many times I'm a certified concert inspector. Oh, yeah, I agree with you, Daryl. Participant raving is pointless. Yeah, it is very pointless. 1 second, guys. I got a Labrador that seems to think he needs to go out.
Yeah, guitar stuff. We got to have faith, but we can't rely on faith. We all have to do our part in trying to expose all this stuff that's going on. Way too many people are sitting there living their life, have no idea what's going on around them outside their 15-minute self-imposed 15-minute city.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know it's just too many people. And the way Vancouver's set up is basically a bunch of 15-minute cities. I live 45 minutes outside from downtown Vancouver, and 90% of the people, you tell them, "Oh, live in Chilliwack." Where's Chilliwack? I've heard of it, but I don't know where. I don't know where it is. They don't even. Like it's a one big, like we have Vancouver, Burnaby, Coquitlam, and then like these little. It's all one big city, Greater Vancouver. But if you live in what they call Maple Ridge, which is about a 20-minute drive without traffic to downtown Vancouver, and you swear you live out in the sticks because people just don't go anywhere.
Yep, for
They're
sure.
stuck in their little self-imposed 15-minute cities.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, that's the thing is people aren't going to even realize what's going on.
No.
It's happening really literally right before our eyes, even unbeknownst to us in little ways that we don't see every day. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, Frank. I don't think I've seen that. And by the way, the people over from Frank's channel, thanks for coming on over. Frank, thanks for coming on over. Generally, this is what I do here instead of my music stuff at the moment, because I think trying to address what's happening in the world is a little more important to me. Sitting in front of my computer playing my guitar, I can do that anytime. Yeah, that's true, guitar stuff. I wouldn't call that freedom as much as I'd call it desperation. Or many other things. I could define that in many ways. and it's many things for many different people, depending on, where they're from, where they're at. And Frank, I was going to say, morals haven't just gone out the window. They've been kicked down the street and tossed in the ocean, guy. Yeah, I don't know about that one. One thing I will say is to all the Australians out there, I did see a news article that I forget which bank it is there, are going to start limiting cash, and you won't be able to go to the bank to get anything. You have to go to an ATM, which is going to be limited in the move towards digital currency.
Let's. I think we should move away from digital currency to programmable currency.
Programmable. Come on now.
Because man, that's what it is. That's where they're heading.
I know if that's allowed to happen, it's game over.
Yeah.
There will be no form of dissent in any way, shape, or form. If they don't like your hairdo, they can shut you off.
Yeah.
And I'm not bashing on the Chinese people, but you look at the Chinese government, and they're already implementing that in many places.
Oh, yeah. But people will deny that.
Yeah. Yep, they do deny that. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, Frank, I know mine get very controversial too back then. I almost lost my channel over it. I deleted a lot of stuff, but even that isn't safe from, shall we say, the arbiters of their truth, because even if you have something set to private or you've deleted it, they literally can go back in time because they make stuff retroactive, which just is hilarious if you think about it on the surface, and ding you for it. Yeah, that's possible, but I don't even know how to address that, because it really isn't practical. Not with the population level we have now. And if you think about the levels of inflation, what are you going to do? You're going to walk around with a pinprick of gold, and that's going to be our new dollar bill? Yeah, I don't see that working out very well.
Well, if they went back to a gold-based economy, gold would have to be probably right now about 60,000 an ounce to cover the debt.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So I really don't know how to address that kind of stuff. But anyways, the thing I want people to think about is, we need to start asking these politicians and the so-called experts and all this stuff, why are you hiding if it's what you claim it is? That's the biggest question.
It's not a. I just want to. It's not. You got to separate cryptocurrency as a whole different thing from CBCDs and fiat currency.
Yeah, all they're trying to do is replace fiat currency with a virtual fiat currency that they can control.
Yeah. Yeah. Tariff subject 31 trillion in debt. And what was it, in 10 years? You'll be this 50 some trillion in debt. But Janet Yellen says because of the measures they're taking now, you won't be 70 trillion in debt.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, in the new budget that came out in Canada, what was it, $2.6 billion for Ukraine. I mean, to compare it to the U.S., it's not a lot. But
well, if you look at population wise, yes, it is.
38 million Canadians. That's a lot of dough that's got to come out of our taxes.
Yeah, you have to look at it on a per capita basis.
Yeah. But I did the numbers. The American taxpayer are still going to be paying a bit more per capita.
Well, it really doesn't matter the level.
No.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm going to hit you with a 5-pound hammer or a 10-pound hammer. What's the difference?
True. Or more like a 10-pound hammer and a 20-pound hammer.
Gerald brings up a point here that I want to address. So what breaks the system is when people refuse to trade their goods for the currently pushed fiat. Yeah, and I agree with that, Gerald, but here comes and lies the problem. If they switch over to digital currency and they decide, well, this guy's causing a problem, he won't play the game, they'll just shut you off from all access of currency. Now, which you can say, well, I'll just trade, I'll just grow all my stuff and I'll do everything. That's fine. But there's still things in life you have to be able to purchase. Nobody can do everything themselves at all times. Everything from mechanical to medical to whatever. If digital currency comes into play, you're literally, and I hate to say this, going to be a slave to the system. That's when they'll bring in the social credit scores. That's when, and you can't tell me that's not going to happen, because it absolutely will. And then when the next problem comes along, and bye-bye now, see ya. Well, I guess, and the thing is, somebody won't be able to do it for you, because if they do, they'll cut them off as well.
Well, we have Chinese Canadians that their family in China is being threatened.
Yeah,
because they've said something here. We've even had Chinese police stations operating in Canada.
Yeah. Now, how does that work? And they didn't notice that? Seriously?
Didn't notice or chose not to notice.
Yeah,
or might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe, Gerald, maybe now, but you can't. Nobody is going to ever be an island upon them unto themselves. It's impossible in this day and age. It's impossible in any age. You're always going to need the cooperation of communities, and myself personally, that's where it's going to be. It's going to have to be communities. Kind of inform, kind of get people to shake the tree a little bit. I want people to, I hope, do as I do, and as much as it seems to be ineffective, but rattle these people's trees, call them, write them. You see them in the street, do like they asked that mayor that he played the video of. Ask them the hard questions right in public if you get the opportunity. It's the least we can do. Because when the alternative comes, it ain't going to make no difference. We all lose. So I'll be right back. I got to let a dog in.
Let a dog out. Let a dog in. Well, that's it, Gerald. You need a community. And a way, if things keep going crazy, a way to protect what you have.
Have I made those steps, Captain? Are you addressing me? Yeah. I call some certain politicians so often that they literally won't answer my phone call. One of them was dumb enough to call me back one time, and you can ask, my wife can attest to this. I managed to keep them on the phone for 45 minutes while I was chewing on their ass. In a polite way. I was not impolite, but I was very stern. You beat them with their own ignorance. That's somewhat true, Frank, and somewhat not true. There's many things I could delve into that. My thoughts are is people can choose what they want. And I know what Gerald's going to get at. If you're starving to get death, and I got food and you don't, that ounce of gold really ain't going to mean squat. To me, it's nothing more than shiny metal. Now, if you got a knife, good knife is always good. Something that goes bang is usually better. That's where value is going to be. And skill sets. But we're talking hypothetical stuff here. I hope it doesn't come to that. Hopefully, because if it comes to that, we've already lost. Yeah, Texas guy, you're correct. Fuel.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aspects that can be talked about and things like that. Yeah, I seen that too. I was trying not to laugh.
That would be the last thing I'd worry about.
Well, it seems to be important to a lot of people, so I guess maybe I have a warehouse full of toilet paper. Oh man. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, you're correct, Gerald. Fiat has no intrinsic value. Never has, never will.
No.
That's why it's called debt based, because by its very virtue of being printed, it is a debt.
Yeah.
And I could explain to people how the national debt will never be paid off because it's impossible. So, but that doesn't make any difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If you have money sitting in the bank, just sitting there, yeah, you're losing wealth, not necessarily money. You're losing purchasing power.
Well, you lose purchasing power if you use a debit card or a credit card. The numbers are staggering. How much money is taken out of the system by the banks?
Well, the collapse is by the very nature of that was on bonds, and interest rates went up, and all of a sudden, oh, the sky is falling. Well, yeah. That's what happens when you play little games like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you were to give a little kid a bag of apples and used it in the same way, I'm pretty sure they'd figure it out real quick.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, man. Yep, you're right. Grow better for sure. Well, I don't know about deer. I'm certainly well capable of preserving meat without refrigeration. Not a problem.
Yeah.
But we're talking semantics now. I mean, that's a matter of one's level of knowledge and skill.
Yeah.
But anyways, I guess my point is when it comes to what's going on in the world and everything we're told, you know, we were told at one point in time that when they went to pass the Patriot Act or any number of things that we have nothing to hide, we have nothing to fear. Well, there's a lot of things right now I'd like to know about why the politicians, if they had nothing to hide, nothing to fear, why are they hiding information?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the financial system or the legal system or the political system or the medical system or any number of things. You know?
Well, that's it. I mean, you look at all the, even when you look at all the redacted documents you get from the Freedom of Information Act, right?
Yep.
It's just crazy. Like, here's 52 pages. The word "the," "a," and are not redacted.
And of, well, I should tell you now, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I guess if nobody else has anything to add, I think I'm going to shut this down.
Yeah.
How you doing, Latina? Good to see you. Guitar stuff. Did you want to jump in and be on the back panel for a bit? By the way, I appreciate everybody stopping in and putting their proverbial 2 cents in. You know, we need to, as I said, we need to rattle these people's cages. Ring their phones off the hook.
Yep.
Oh, Wanda, good to see you. A little late to the party. Waiting to see if guitar stuff is going to answer me. But when somebody asks you, I'll tell you, everybody here that's still here before I sign off, why you think the way you do, or why you don't buy into what they're saying, say, well, why do they got to hide the information about stuff if it's true and as portrayed? So, you gonna hang out for a minute, Brian?
Yep.
All right. I don't see guitar stuff saying anything at the moment. So, anyways, folks, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and I will talk to all you guys later. I'm out of here in 3, 2, 1. Have a good one, people.